Football, American football, is arguably the best game ever invented. So let me introduce it to you. Grid football, the first true American football board game. On the cover, it shows you can pass, you can run. Let me show you the real game, it's easier. Zoom out so you can see the whole board. It fits on a standard sized coffee table. You can keep track of the downs and the scores on the side here with the same yard markers you use to keep track of the yards. You can start at 20. Here you see the blue team, 5 linemen and 4 backs. This is the medium-sized board. Later we'll have a larger board where you can have 11 players, but this works fine. In fact, for beginners, we recommend you start out with 3 linemen. But in any case, it plays just like football. You start on the 20-yard line. Let's assume the blue is the home team. The home team goes, the visiting team goes. That's an inning. The game must end at the end of a drive inning. That's all there is to it. You can set a timer, play it that way, or you can go by who gets to the score first. So let me show you how to play pretty quickly. You can see, you can back up and move these pieces and make a pocket. That's pretty evident. And then the defense can attack. You roll 2 dice, you move a little bit, the defense moves a little bit, you move a little bit. And then you can, for example, push, the defense can push a lineman and a defensive back. These are linemen, these are backs, can go 1, 2, 3, and get and sack the quarterback. And then if you pass the ball or run the ball down to here, you line up again, and then you have 4. You go to second down and you have 4 downs, just like regular football, to get into the end zone. You get in the end zone, you get 10 points, which is really 10 yards because this is really a 10-yard field. You can tell by the size of the end zone. It says 100 yards, but these are really 1-yard lines. For reference, we put what most people are used to seeing. So, let me demonstrate how you would start playing 10 minutes after you open the box. The advanced rules are pretty complex, but the beginner rules, you can start playing right away. Start off with 3 linemen on the 20-yard line. Home team has the ball, as you can see. It's an adorable little ball. And these pieces I painted white on the top so you can see them clearly. Zoom in a little bit. And you can see now that we have a standard football setup with your offense in blue and your defense in red. Maybe you want a pass rusher. There's different ways you can line up. We'll talk about that later. But first, let me show you all you need to do to start playing. Well, obviously, you know the offense is going to roll 2 dice, and then they can move, and the defense is going to roll 2 dice, and they move. But let me show you how you can move, okay? Let's zoom in. Let's take this lineman and put him right over here. This lineman can go 1, 2. This is the offensive lineman, blue. Straight. 1, 2, 1, 2. Anywhere. 1, 2. Forward. Sideways, you can go 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2. Right? And back, he can literally only go 1 space. Just 1. Back. Not even 1 diagonal. So that's all you need to know about linemen. Okay? And these offensive linemen might want to push the defensive lineman so he can go in 1 and 2 and push. They're still going 2 forward. But that's not the way we do it. We just say, move this one first, 1 and 2, even though it's the offense's turn. It's smoother that way, okay? Same thing with the defensive linemen. They can go 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, or they can go sideways 1, 2, or 1, 2. And then when they want to attack, they are stopped right there, and then after that, they're in a block. From there, the next turn, they can exit the block. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So that's all you really need to know about those. The standard bat, I'll stay on the hash line so you can follow easy. The back can move 1, 2, 3 forward, or 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, or 2 sideways, 1, 2. So you can go 1, 2, 3 over here, 3 over here, and 3 over here. I'll take the other back so you can see. You start here, you can go 1, 2, 3, You can go 1, 2, or you can go 1, 2, 3 over there, or you can go 1, 2, 3 over there. But backwards, you can only go 2. 1, 2. You can only go here, or you can go 1, 2 there, or 1, 2 here. And the same thing on the other side. Okay? And that's all you need to know. It can go 3 forward and 2 back. 1, 2. So you can start with 3 linemen. You zoom out. And you have 2 wide receivers. And you have 1 running back. Okay. Then you would roll. Let's say you get a 3 and a 4. You would want to go 1, 2, 3, because that's all he can go. And then this guy will go 4. And then you would use the 3 for the linemen, or you can just use them all for you can use all 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, whatever, for your backs. Let me show you what that looks like. If you have a 3 and a 4, if you roll 3 and a 4, you can use 3 for your linemen and 4 for your backs, so vice versa, or you can use all 7 for just one type, in this case the backs. I would, if he goes 1, 2, 3, goes out here, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, use 2 here, 2 there, and then for the 4, and then for the 3, I might go 1, 2, and just make a bit of a pocket over here. In any case, that's all you need to know to start playing. You want to call that the first move, 4 and 3, okay? So I went 1, 2, 3, 4. When you go 3 forward, 1, 2, 3, that's just playing 3. Nothing more you can do about that. But if you're going to go 1, 2, 3, you don't have to go 1, 2, 3. You can just go diagonally 1 and 1 over. Same thing over here. 1, 2, 3. You can go diagonally 1 and 1 over here. So anywhere you can go 1, 2, 3, or 2 for the lineman, or 4 for the star lineman, you can go with a shortcut. And that's true for the backs and for the linemen. In other words, he can go 1, 2, 3 right there, before and after. And instead of going 1, 2, 3, he can just go 1 diagonal and 1 over. And that's a shortcut. If you want to throw a pass, so let's say you have a 3 and a 4, you want to throw a pass, and you see you're behind. You can see over here you're behind the safety, right? Well, if you go 1, 2, 3, he can only go back 2, 1, 2. So he cannot cover you unless you get a double. If you get a double, you get 1 extra unit of energy, but you don't want to let him get there. But let's say you're about to get sacked, and they're on the same grid space right here. Now that is not technically a block like it is over here when these guys are in a block. We'll talk about blocks later. This particular situation, he can go 1, 2, 3, and the defense can go 1, 2 to cover him, and then they use challenging die. If you're able to meet him, you have the big challenge, and then you have a chance of intercepting the ball and putting an end to that. If you're here, or here, or here, you get the next 2 level of dice. If you're here, with the quarterback's here, you're in between the receiver and the quarterback, then you get the middle challenging dice, which is about half complete and half incomplete. And this means it's complete, and you roll again. And if you're here or here, you get the tiny challenging die, which is mostly completes. You'll only have 2 out of 6 chances to get it complete, but you still have a chance. And that's why it's for beginners. And the more advanced levels, this is used more, for example, like if you have a star covering a standard one, or a lineman covering a back, then you have an advantage or disadvantage. You go up and down the dice levels. And that's basically how it's played. It's football.